Hello team, it is Thursday the 7th of May today and we've got our usual schedule. It sounds like lots of you are getting into the swing of things now. So we'll go through our reading, direct you to your core skills, we'll have a look at some maths, our grammar and then your English task. So let's get started. So our reading today is going to be based on our lunchbox and the story of our food. So I want you to pause the video here. Not yet, sorry. Remember, have a look at the questions first. When you've got the questions in your mind is more available to pick up the information. So read your questions, then read the passage, then go back to your questions. So pause here so that you can figure out some answers. Okay, so our answers, you haven't got the sheet unless you've printed it out. So what your answers might look like. The apples are ready to be picked in, and then you fill in the blank. And then the one word that makes apples sound extra tasty is, and then you fill in the blank. So let's take a look. So you can see here you've got your sentence stems at the top. Let's have a read of our questions and see if we can find our answer. When are the apples ready to be picked? And we've got 4 options: spring, summer, autumn or winter. Now there's lots of seasons that are being spoken about here, so we've got to really use our detective skills, and that's why it's a really good job that we've already read our question. We're already looking for the key word. What's the key word here, guys? The key word in that sentence, when are the apples ready to be picked, is our key word. So in spring, the apple trees in the orchard are full of flowers. So spring, they're full of flowers. Okay. In summer, tiny apple buds grow from each flower stalk. So summer, apple, the flower stalks grow. And then the buds keep growing, and by autumn, the trees are full of ripe, sweet fruit ready to be picked. And then let's have a look at question 16. Find and copy one word that makes the apples sound tasty. So we're thinking about the word tasty isn't in there, but you've got to imagine what really gets you to buy in. Oh yeah, those apples sound nice. Let's read it again. In spring, the apple trees in the orchard are full of flowers. In summer, tiny apple buds grow from each flower stalk. The bud keeps growing, and by autumn, the trees are full of ripe, sweet fruit ready to be picked. Machines cut down the apples, or groups of pickers reach into the tree to fill their boxes with fruit. Okay, make sure at this point you've got your answers and you're committed and you know what you think and you know what you've got down. So make sure they're down. Pause here if you haven't. Make sure let's get an answer and then let's have a look together. So the apples are ready to be picked in the apples, and they keep growing, and by autumn the trees are full of the ripe sweet fruit ready to be picked. So your area here, the ready to be picked, is at the end of a sentence. So it's up to you then to track back to the beginning of the sentence to get your answer. So your answer is not in spring, not in summer, in autumn time. And the one word that makes the apple sound tasty is sweet. Put your hands up if you like to eat sweets. My hand is up high. Of course we do. They're delicious because they're sweet. And so that word there, that adjective to describe the apple, makes us go, oh yeah, I could just eat an apple. Crunch. Okay, that's your reading. I don't know how you're managing this, but however you are, the learning that I am getting from you guys is phenomenal. So it's working. Whatever system you've got is working. So take a pause here and let's go onto our core skills. Guys, we're seeing some really good work on the core skills. We've got a battle. I know Charlie is battling his heart out. Miss Cunnington is impressed with the results. She keeps popping on there and having a look. So good job, guys. Keep up the hard work. Now we're on to our maths activity. So we're going to be completing patterns by considering the positioning. What is happening to this pattern? So what shape can you see here? You can see what shape are they? I'm a circle, circle. I want to be a square. Is it a square or a circle? Think about the patterns you draw with your hands. I want to be a triangle and have 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. Is it a triangle with 1, 2, 3 sides? No. It's not, is it? I'm a triangle. I want to be a rectangle and have 2 sides longer than your thumb sticking up and have 2 sides longer than the other 2. Oh yeah, I'm a rectangle. You're a rectangle, of course you knew that. So we've got our rectangles here, and look at the pattern. So we've got a standing up and having a rest. A standing up and having a rest. What's going to come next? Shout it out. Yeah, we've got a standing up, then we're having a rest. Each shape is turning a quarter turn. So each shape is moving a quarter of the way past the clock. Think about where your O clock is and think about where that hand turns to the first quarter and the next quarter and the half. So that's what we're going to be thinking about. We're having a look at a quarter turn to begin with. So if you can stand up, so stand up where you're sitting now, and then I would just want you to pretend that you're facing 12 o'clock. So put your hands out and pretend that you're facing 12 o'clock. And then I want you to turn to quarter past. That's a quarter turn. Okay, now you're at quarter past. And then I want you to turn to half past and do another quarter turn. Now your face should be facing the opposite way to where you started now. You're facing the 6 on the clock instead of the 12. Now from your 6, I want you to do another quarter turn up to the 9. And then I want you to do your final quarter turn from the 9 back to the 12, and you're back at the beginning. You have done, how many quarter turns did you do there? From the beginning to the 3, from the 3 to the 6, from the 6 to the 9, from the 9 to the 12. How many quarter turns is that? That is 4 quarter turns. Good job. So if we have a look at this pattern here, I want you to draw this in your book. So I want you to draw your triangle. So I want you to draw with the base at the side and the point pointing, and then the base at the bottom. Base at the side, base at the bottom. Base at the side, base at the bottom. And I want you to draw the next 3 shapes in this pattern, and then the one underneath that you can see. So we've got our circle, then we've got a rectangle, but what's the position of the rectangle? It's not just circle, rectangle. Look at the positions. So it's circle, rectangle pointing up, circle, rectangle having a rest, circle, rectangle pointing up, circle, rectangle having a rest, circle, what's going to come next? So pause the video here, and then I would like you to draw what comes next in the pattern. So pause me here, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Okay, let's check our answers. Did you get it? So of course, it goes side, base, side again, and then we've got our rectangle that's pointed up, then a circle, and then having a rest. How did you do? If you didn't get it, where did you go wrong? That's where the learning is. Okay, so have a check. If you have got it, any of them not quite right, pause it here, figure out where your answer is. You're going to get this. Okay, so pause it and have a look. So now we're going to move on to securing it, and we need to fill in the missing shapes to complete the patterns. So you need to have a look at the shapes that we've got there, and then there's some gaps in between. So you're going to have to use the beginning of the pattern or the middle of the pattern to try and work backwards or forwards as to where the pattern changes and how it changes. You've got to look for patterns here. Can that help us? There's another pattern here that we might be able to join together. And the same here. Have a look at your arrows. So it goes down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right. What's going to be next? Then we want that vocabulary here, guys. What kind of turn do we see here? Oh, excuse me. Oh, sneezes. Sorry, guys. Virtual sneeze. So I want you to have a look and describe the turn for each pattern. So what we were talking about earlier, what kind of turns are we talking about today? Okay, so pause here. I want you to draw these patterns and then fill in the missing one. Draw this pattern, fill in the missing one, and then you can draw this pattern and put an equal sign and tell me what kind of turn we're seeing on both of them. Okay, so pause here to complete your answers. So you can see here that these two are facing each other and having a kiss. So these two need to face each other to have a kiss, as do these, as do these. How did you do? Okay, and this one goes down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right. So of course, down, left, up. And the turns for each of these patterns, look, the base jumps from here all the way to the o'clock and all the way back to the 6 on the clock. So what kind of, when we go from the 12 to the 6, we call that, how far past the o'clock have we gone? We've gone half of the way past. So we've done half a clockwise turn or half an anti-clockwise turn. So if we're going clockwise, our shape has moved from here and it is wiggled round clockwise to here. If we've gone anti-clockwise, we've taken this point here and we've wiggled him round to that way. So you've either gone clockwise, the way that the clock goes, or anti-clockwise, the way that the clock doesn't go. But either way, you've turned halfway around the clock face every time. And this one, we've done quarter turns. So you've done 2 quarter turns here to get a half a turn. Here we've done quarter turns. So we've gone from here, quarter turn to here. And now he's flipped up that way to do this one. And then he's flipped this way to do that one. So we've got 2 quarter turns that make a half turn and a quarter turn clockwise here. Okay guys, I want you to deepen your learning now. So the rule is turn the shape a quarter turn. Okay, so that's what Eva says. The rule is turn the shape a quarter turn. Now Rosie says the rule is turn the shape 3 quarters. Who's correct? So have a look at these. We're starting on the left, go up to the top, onto the right, down to the bottom. Who's correct? Eva or Rosie? And why? Don't just tell me Eva or Rosie. You're going to have to explain why. So pause here, have a think, and then explain why. So let's have a look at who's correct and why. Let's have a look at our answers. So make sure you've paused here so you've got something written down. And let's have a look at our answers. Okay, Eva and Eva and Rosie could both be correct, as no direction is given. So Eva may be turning clockwise and Rosie might be turning anti-clockwise. So it's the clockwise and the anti-clockwise, but each time it's a quarter turn, so they could both be right. Well done, girls. Okay, that's the end of your maths, guys. So if you're taking a break here, have a pause. If you're soldering on, good job. Let's keep going. And let's have a look at our grammar. So we're going to be using simple contractions here. So the following sentence contains a contraction that has been covered by a spilt paint. Oh no, which letters have been covered? So the dog, something been seen since yesterday. So I want you to pause here, have a read of the sentence, and there's a word there. There's 2 words that the writer's been lazy and squished them into one. What word, and there's 2 options it could be, what word could go there that has an apostrophe in it? Pause here and have a think. You can have 2 options. It could be the dog hasn't been seen since yesterday, or it could be the dog hadn't been seen since yesterday. Hasn't or hadn't, either will work. Did you get it right? Did you get anything different? They're the 2 that I can think of, but maybe you've got something different. I'll be interested to know. You can email me at our Year 2 address. So add apostrophes to show the missing letters in the following contractions. So in your books, I want you to write this down, please. Where do you put that apostrophe? It's where you've got the missing letters. So where are we going to put our apostrophe in this word? What are we missing here? Here. We've got the word here again, here. And what letter are we missing? We've got an S and we've got an S. What letter are we missing? We're missing the I. So our apostrophe will need to go in here. Now they had, again, work out what letters are we missing and then add your apostrophe. Pause here and do that for me, guys. Of course, the H and the A are missing from they'd. So we've got they apostrophe D. Did you get it? If not, have a look where you went wrong. That's where the learning is, guys. And I'm sure you'll be more inclined to get the word they'd correct next time. Now, what I want you to do, can you write me a sentence using one of these words? So choose either his or choose they'd and write your own sentence using one of those words, please. Or both. I've done a sentence for both. So you can make the choice. What do you want to use and what kind of sentence? So pause here, think about your sentence and write it down ready to email over to me and share with me. Here are my sentences. So here is my favourite book becomes here's my favourite book, and my favourite book is What Was I Scared Of? You read that, Dr. Seuss. It's brilliant. And then we've got they had read the book together, and I've changed the they had for they'd read the book together. So I'm looking forward to getting your entries over email so I know what kind of his and they'd you've used in your writing. So good job, guys. That's the end of your grammar. Move forward with me to find out what your English is for today, because I'm loving the English for today. Loving the English for today. And then the English. So what makes a diary entry different from other pieces of writing is what I want to focus on today. So diary writing must describe how you're feeling. That's the whole point. You are writing and reflecting on your day, and you are telling us how you are feeling. So it's got to be talking about the feelings that you have. So a diary is usually a secret place to write how you feel about what happened to you in the day. In a diary, you might include feelings or hopes or worries that you wouldn't want anybody else to know about, things that you're not sure about letting an adult know. And a diary is a really nice way of getting things that are going around your head, because I know that when I'm worried about something, it goes on a loop. It's like it's just permanently etched in my brain. I can't get it out. And I know that if I write that worry down onto paper, it kind of feels like it's out of my brain. And then I'm more likely to share it with somebody and say, you know what, I've been finding this a bit tricky. What do you think? And can I just tell you this? And I feel a lot braver about sharing my worries. And you know what? Sharing them with somebody makes me feel way better about it. And that could be a teacher. It could be one of the other teachers at school. It could be my mom or my dad or my husband. Sharing it and talking about it makes it less scary. There's a lot of power in your own brain and thinking. Let's look at some examples below. Where have these diary writers described their feelings? Oh, I changed the poorly soldiers' bandages and I cleaned their wounds. Some of the injuries made me feel sick to look at, but I didn't let my disgust show. So that's a lady. We're going back into old times where she's cleaning soldiers' wounds there. I'm flipping ahead, sorry. Where's the feeling there? What is she feeling? She's feeling it made her feel sick. Those injuries must have been really rough, because when she was looking at them, it made her feel sick. But she was conscious that the soldiers lying there didn't need to see her throwing up. So she registered, those sicky burps and you just have to kind of swallow them and swallow them back down. Maybe she did that. So it made her feel sick. And the feeling of disgust. Yeah, of course. I missed that one, didn't I? Did you miss that or did you get it? Were you shouting out, Mrs. Upton, there's disgust as well? Okay, we've got a football squad here. I couldn't believe we'd won the World Cup. I was flooded with disbelief and my whole body tingled with excitement and pride. So what are the feelings we've got there? What's happening to his whole body? He says that it's flooded. He can't believe it. And the words say, I just can't believe it. Louis, I imagine you're here going, I can't believe it. It's one of your sayings, isn't it? It's disbelief. And what's a feeling that he's getting inside his body? Tingled, and the feeling of excitement and pride. Did you get those? Yes, going a bit wibbly, but we get it. So it tells the reader in your diary exactly how you feel after each event. Now, I want you to pick out the emotion being described here. I opened my eyes and the sun was shining through a gap in the curtains onto my skin. I woke up smiling and I was excited about the day ahead. How am I feeling? And what tells you that? What am I doing with my mouth? I woke up how? I woke up smiling. Yeah, that's right. I woke up and I was smiling. And how did I feel? I felt excited. I could feel the sun shining. It's a nice start to the day, isn't it? If you can see the sunshine, it makes you smile and you feel excited. Okay, then next one. What emotion am I feeling here? My brother ran and turbo jumped onto me. This could be a scene out of my house at the moment with my twin boys. My brother ran and turbo jumped onto me. He hit me square in the ribs. I squealed out in pain and struggled to hold back the tears. What emotion can you feel and hear there? Pain. And we've got the word here, pain. And how do you know that this person's in pain? Because he struggled to hold back the tears. Okay, so we've got the emotion, how you feel. This is always what a diary has to come back to. How are you feeling? That's how you can overcome emotions. When you check in with yourself and you say, okay, this happened, but this is how I feel. That's the bit that your body remembers, and that's the bit you have on loop, that feeling inside you. So that's what we need to focus on, getting onto the paper. So my example for today, I have my date, Thursday the 7th of May, and I've got it spelled bob on. Make sure you've got that Thursday spelled correctly, and I've addressed my diary, Dear Diary. Today was a day filled with sadness, so I'm opening my introduction is already warning my diary. It's a rough one, diary. Buckle up, buttercup, because it's going to get messy. When I woke up this morning, I just didn't feel like myself. Everything felt like a challenge. Even the simple things that Dad asked me to do felt like a chore. This morning, Dad asked me what I would like for breakfast, and I ignored him. I couldn't be bothered to answer, but it made him cross, and he shouted at me. He told me I was being rude. I didn't know what words to use to tell him that. I just wasn't feeling like myself. Have you ever had that happen to you, when you're just not feeling great, but you're not telling anybody that you're not feeling great? And so you just look like you're being a bit rude, and you're really not. You're really just struggling and finding it a bit difficult. This is where the diary helps. So if you've done something like this today and you know that you annoyed your dad because you didn't answer him, or you shrugged your shoulders, or did something that made them cross, maybe being able to think, oh, you know what? You know why I did that? I was sad. I didn't feel like I wanted to talk, and getting it down into your diary, it might give you a little prompt to go back to Dad and say, you know, this morning when I ignored you, I'm sorry that it came across as rude, but I wasn't trying to be rude. I just felt sad, and answering you, I found it a bit tricky. So a diary is a really helpful thing. It gets the emotions out of your head and the words onto the paper, and then you can start to understand your own thoughts and feelings a little bit better. And that's a really positive thing with taking care of your mind, which is a really important thing to do. So I would like you to do your Dear Diary and introduce what kind of day it's been today. So this is reflective. It might be the start of your day. You might want to think about yesterday. So you might want to say it's Thursday the 7th of May, but you might want to tell me a little bit about yesterday evening, and then just bring me up to speed on what kind of morning you've had if you're doing this in the morning. There are no rules with this. This is to help you. It's to improve your learning, but it's also to help you and to understand all those crazy emotions that so many of us are feeling at the moment, because we've never experienced anything like this. So pause here and get busy writing your diary, guys. Now, don't forget, we've got our connected curriculum projects that are going on. We have seen some incredible projects, so keep those coming, guys, and we'll make sure that we get you on the shout outs this week. Keep up the hard work. We miss you so much. We think 6 weeks holiday is tough. This is different, isn't it? It's very different, and we miss you a lot. We are so proud of you all, children and grown-ups, for handling it just brilliantly. You should be proud of yourselves. Good job, guys.